kind of an overview of the styling and setup of the vehicle. And Arrow kind of talked initially about this is a global Jeep. Actually, this is our first entry into the B segment. A little background on the B segment. Right now it's about a 2 million unit global segment across all 4 regions. We expect that to grow up to a 3 million total segment by year 2020. So very critical that Jeep gets into that segment, sets itself up for its global presence. We mentioned we're going to launch this at Melfi plant in Italy in later this year. And we've also made it public that we'll be launching this program down in Latin America, in Brazil. Mr. Marchione made that clear during the Investor Day a few weeks ago. So you see our dedication to making a global Jeep. We will sell this in all 4 regions in over 100 countries. So what I'd like to do is just kind of take you through underneath a little bit of the vehicle. I won't be able to let you drive these vehicles today, which we could. We should take you off-road, but let me talk to you about the mechanicals and how it's set up. So if you think about the Jeeps we brought out over the last few years with the Grand Cherokee and the Cherokee and now the Renegade, there's been a consistent story. Mark explained the styling, what's critical for a Jeep. The other part of the story is capability. Every Jeep in its segment will be the most capable without exception. That's same here for the Renegade in this segment. Second of all is fuel efficiency. As you know, Jeeps historically were not the most fuel efficient vehicles in the world, so we'll explain what we did to really make this vehicle fully competitive in the B segment market. And then third is on-road presence in terms of its feeling, its comfort, its ride and handling. So I'm going to kind of focus on those specific 3 areas. So let's start with capability. This vehicle will come with basically 2 4x4 systems. We call our active drive and our active drive low. The active drive low will be on the Renegade model, active drive on the other models. It's a fully automatic, seamless system, fully automatic, turns on when you need it, can put torque to any of the 4 wheels whenever you need it in any given situation. With regard to active drive low, we move that up to a 20-to-1 crawl ratio, what allows us to take basically the first gear at a high with a 9-speed with a high ratio of 4.7-to-1, combine that with a higher front drive ratio, and get up to that 20-to-1 crawl ratio. It allows you to get over many of the obstacles you experience in the off-road driving. With regard to the all-wheel drive systems, we now combine that on the Renegade, as you see here, with an approach angle of 30 degrees, a departure angle of 34 degrees, and then a breakover angle of 26 degrees, best in segment. And Mark explained, combine that with tow hooks, basic off-road tires, full-size spare, which you don't see in this segment on this type of vehicle, but if you look at the back of it later, lift up, full-size spare available, full skid plate package for basically escapability and protection off-road. So also, as we brought out the Grand Cherokee and then the Cherokee and now the Renegade, you see we've basically brought the Select Train in, introduced in the Grand Cherokee, brought it into the Cherokee, and you'll see it here on the Renegade with 4 settings in all the 4x4 modes and 5 settings that we offer on the Trailhawk package when you bring in the rock mode with the basically low crawl ratio. So from a capability, our goal always when we enter a segment is to be anybody out there. That's who we are, that's Jeep. And we could have just done that. We historically have done that for many years, but then you get into the world of CO2 and fuel efficiency and economics, and get into a refinement. So let me talk a little about fuel efficiency. When you look at this vehicle, it probably looks like a brick, and you probably think the CD is pretty bad. It's actually, in terms of the segment it's in, it's a best-in-class CD with a drag of about 0.35 to 0.36. A lot of work done by Mark's studio to really do all the sculpting of this vehicle, both under and along the side of the vehicle. And then we basically combine that with multiple powertrain and transmission combinations globally. We have 5 engines globally, 4 transmissions. And it will vary by market and by segment. So let me go through quickly the engines. We basically have a 1.6 and a 2-liter diesel in basically some international markets. We don't do the diesels here in NAFTA. We also have a 1.8 e-torque engine in Europe. We have the 1.4 gas, our fire engine, and then we have our 2.4 Tiger Shark multi-air engine. And we combine those engines across 4 different transmissions. A 9-speed automatic transmission that we introduced on the Cherokee, bring it into the Renegade, and then we offer that, we combine it behind a 2-liter diesel and a 2.4 Tiger Shark. We also bring in a 6-speed manual, a 5-speed manual in select markets, and actually still bring in a DDCT in select markets, specifically in Asia. So we combine those different combinations across the driveline for 16 different powertrain combinations. That allows us to optimize in each market for its wants and its fuel efficiency needs. And I mentioned a little bit about on-road comfort and how the vehicle is set up. What we typically do in Jeeps is, we've gone pretty much to fully independent fronts, independent suspensions, and historically we had a lot of live axles and then basically twist beam. We've converted all those over to pretty much fully independent on everything but the Wrangler model. So this has essentially a rear independent Chapman suspension, which you typically don't find in this segment, but we put it in the Jeep for its on-road comfort and allows it to quickly adapt to the 4x4 systems. Body structure has been stiffened significantly, and that is both an on-road characteristic in terms of that front to rear feel and coupling. It also is an off-road characteristic because when you want to lift up one corner and get that full spring travel, you want the body to be stiff. And we also, on each of the four corners, we put FSDs, working a lot with our EMEA colleagues to get that fine tuning at the top of the shocks and you get that on-road characteristic. Electric power steering, electric parking brake, all the technologies we need for fuel economy and the experience of driving for both low and high-speed driving specifically. We do combine it with a number of safety features that we've now brought into this segment, things like front collision warning, blind spot detection, essentially in an active role, and then combine that with about 70 different safety features on the vehicle. So essentially what Jeeps want to be is always very capable, and we've in each Jeep brought them out, made them a lot more fuel efficient, made them a lot on-road friendly, and have standard safety so you always feel safe and secure in the Jeep, whether you're off-road or on-road. So I think it kind of gives you an idea of what's behind it. I'd love to be able to drive them. We're not at that stage yet of our launch cycle. As you said, we're launching later this year. And also wanted to introduce Art Anderson. Art's standing over here. Art's been the lead engineer